The clock was ticking inside the Montecito mansion, and according to Britain's most feared royal biographer, the countdown ends the moment Prince William becomes king.
Well, you know my mistakes. I say the opposite. I think William is a man who's not in a hurry. I don't think he wants to be king soon. I think he is not that keen on all the different aspects of the monarchy. It's about Harry and Meghan Part 2. There's so much has happened in the last 5 years. Now, my prediction is that Harry is terrified by the stripping of Andrew's title and told Meghan in no uncertain terms that once it's King William, they could well all lose their title and lose everything.
Breaking today, Prince William doubles down. According to multiple sources, it's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
The right thing to do. I mean, the point was that we'd always criticise Charles for being hesitant and backing away from controversy. But I don't think it was Charles's decision in the end. I mean, it was technically, but of course he was forced into it, most likely by Prince William. I think Camilla also said this can't carry on.
That Tom Bower is also getting into. One of the reasons that he wants to leave the USA is because after the Andrew scandal, Harry is now fearful of what is coming for him.
What's your take on Harry and Meghan then?
Well, I think he should go home, like E.T. He should go phone home and then go home.
What about Meghan and Harry? Because there are reports that Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and their children could be set to lose their royal titles if and when Prince William becomes monarch.
Very aggressive PR for the Sussexes. Got way beyond herself because she really doesn't understand the British royal family or Britain, but understands how to project her clients. And so I think she got it wrong by leaking it or even letting anyone know about it.
Royal biographer Tom Bower has just made his...
Tom Bower has dropped what may be the most devastating prediction yet, and it lands like a thunderclap over Harry and Meghan's California kingdom. Not speculation, not theory, a warning. Bower says that when William ascends the throne, he will strip the Sussexes of their royal titles. Not might, not possibly, will. And the reason Harry is reportedly terrified? He has already seen what happens when the palace decides someone has crossed the final line. He watched it happen to Prince Andrew. Andrew wasn't gently nudged aside. He was dismantled piece by piece. Military titles gone, royal duties erased, public image shredded, confined away from grandeur, ceremonial uniforms banned, reputation buried, career over, legacy scorched. And that happened under King Charles, widely seen as measured, patient, even restrained when it comes to family warfare. Now imagine William.
And if I was, I'm a betting man, I'm pretty sure that's what William will do, as the only way to save him from trouble, to get revenge, and to actually save the monarchy too. He can't afford to have the Sussexes in Montecito challenging him, and I don't think Kate would tolerate it either. So if I was Harry, I'd be nervous of his brother ascending the throne.
This is no longer idle chatter floating around tabloids. This is Tom Bower, a man who has spent decades investigating the monarchy, who has written biographies on Charles, Meghan, and the inner workings of power itself, saying openly that Harry told Meghan, in blunt terms, that once William takes the throne, they could lose everything. Everything. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles? Gone. The Hirsch styling already shelved, permanently severed. Their children's prince and princess designations? Potentially questioned. Their placement in the line of succession? Examined. Scrutinized. Possibly altered.
You're gonna Google yourself, was it Room or something?
Room.
You're gonna Google yourself, or like a Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's gonna like discover she can walk. It's gonna be like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's kids are gonna discover we're royalty. You assholes didn't tell us. Oh my God.
Bower says there's a blueprint, and it's unfolding in real time. Andrew's systematic reduction wasn't random. It was methodical, a template. Strip honors. Remove access. Isolate influence. End public presence. Under Charles, it moved carefully. Under William, Bower suggests it could move decisively. Because William, unlike his father, has zero tolerance for what he sees as damage to the monarchy. He reportedly views removing Harry and Meghan's titles as accomplishing 3 objectives at once. First, protecting Harry from further self-destruction by removing the royal platform he continues to monetize. Second, addressing years of public grievances, memoir accusations, documentary revelations, televised confessions that many inside the palace view as betrayal. And third, shielding the monarchy itself from continued erosion. William cannot afford a California-based branch of royalty using titles while criticizing the institution that grants them. He cannot have figures in the line of succession publicly undermining the crown. And Bauer adds another critical layer. Catherine will not tolerate it either. The future queen is said to have no appetite for ongoing Sussex turbulence. If Harry is uneasy now, imagine his position when William wears the crown. And the timing is brutal, because Harry's American chapter is wobbling. Take the surfing incident. The American River Surfing School released what was supposed to be a polished, triumphant video of Harry riding waves. Instead, the internet immediately tore it apart. Viewers claimed the footage looked AI enhanced, one frame showing another man tumbling behind him, while Harry's balance remained suspiciously unaffected. Within hours, commenters were questioning whether it was authentic at all. One observer put it bluntly, "When privilege distorts reality, you assume no one will notice the edit." The backlash wasn't subtle. Even sympathetic voices began to wonder whether approving such footage suggested a disconnect from public perception. Because once the illusion cracks, it cracks loudly. Then there's Meghan's lifestyle venture, American River Luxury Goods, facing its own storm. Reports claim that storage rooms at Netflix headquarters in Los Angeles are filled with unsold products from the brand. Jars of jam, candles allegedly arriving without wicks, wine, decorative sprinkles. Staff reportedly helping themselves. Boxes stacked. Inventory unmoved. And then came the pricing controversy. Royal News Network examined one of Meghan's product bundles. Individually, a spread priced at $12 and a chocolate bar at $14 totaled $26. Yet the duo was reportedly listed at $29. Instead of a discount for bundling, a common retail strategy, customers were being charged $3 more. $3 may sound minor, but symbolically, it detonated credibility. Critics questioned whether it was miscalculation or assumption that buyers would notice. Supporters scrambled to defend. Detractors called it tone deaf. In business optics, perception often matters more than margins, and perception was brutal. Even some former allies appeared to shift tone. Nicki Minaj publicly commented that Harry should go home, likening it to E.T. phoning home, adding that she believes airing family grievances publicly was a mistake. She emphasized she loves the royal family and felt disappointed watching the rift unfold. That moment mattered, because it reflected something deeper, the cooling of cultural enthusiasm. The once electric celebrity sympathy around the Sussex departure has dulled. The shock factor has faded. What remains is scrutiny. Then came the Kardashian photo incident. Photos briefly appeared online showing Harry and Meghan dancing at a charity event close to Remembrance Day. They were deleted shortly after. Reports suggested Meghan made a call seeking narrative clarification, wanting the context framed carefully. But the response from Kardashian circles reportedly treated it as a simple scheduling misstep. An oops, nothing more. The gap between expectation and response exposed something telling. Influence is no longer assumed. When narrative control slips, panic often follows. And hovering above all of this is the online battlefield, the Sussex Squad. Pop culture podcaster Dana Bowling described their reactions after she mentioned receiving a candle without a wick. She said the backlash was immediate and aggressive. She maintained her post wasn't about Meghan personally, just the product quality. Yet harassment followed. The irony, critics point out, is stark. Harry and Meghan have positioned themselves as voices against online toxicity, but they have never publicly condemned their most aggressive digital defenders. Silence in public relations often speaks louder than statements, and all of this unfolds while Tom Bauer insists the real earthquake is still coming. Charles, by most accounts, seeks stability. He waited decades to become king. He is managing health challenges. He appears inclined toward minimizing open family warfare. William is different. He grew up watching crisis management under pressure. He understands optics. He understands institutional fragility. And most importantly, he has 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, who will inherit the crown's legacy. Allowing prolonged instability now risks handing them a monarchy weakened by unresolved internal conflict. William, Bauer suggests, will not pass that burden forward. The Andrew precedent stands. If a working royal can lose military honors and formal duties for reputational damage, what happens to a non-working royal who has authored memoirs detailing private family conversations, participated in high-profile interviews, and built commercial ventures off royal proximity? The British public mood, according to comment sections and polling trends, leans toward decisive action. Words like strip, remove, and enough dominate online discourse. Even in America, where the Sussex brand was meant to flourish independently, enthusiasm appears fractured. Harry reportedly understands the shifting tide, which may explain reports that he has floated willingness to resume limited royal duties if needed. A door still slightly open under Charles, a door likely sealed under William. Time is not neutral here. Every month that passes brings William closer to kingship. Every controversy compounds, every misstep magnifies, and Tom Bower is not whispering, he is declaring. When William becomes king, he will act. And here's where the fear becomes real. Not rumor, not online chatter, but strategic panic. Because once William wears the crown, everything changes overnight. Tom Bower makes it clear. Charles tolerates. William recalibrates. Charles absorbs. William restructures. Charles wants quiet. William wants control. Under Charles, Harry still has a narrow thread connecting him to the institution, a father who waited a lifetime to become king and who reportedly has little appetite for escalating family warfare during his final chapter on the throne. But William? William represents a generational reset, and resets are rarely sentimental. The line of succession has already become a subject of renewed discussion. Once that conversation opens publicly, vulnerability follows. Harry's position, his children's status, the structural architecture of the monarchy itself all become subject to review. And that is precisely why Bower suggests Harry is maneuvering now, while he still can. There are whispers that Harry has floated the idea of returning in some meaningful capacity. Even limited duties, even symbolic appearances, even partial reintegration. But the phrase that echoes through palace corridors is one Queen Elizabeth herself once made famous: "You cannot be half in and half out." That door closed years ago. And the British public hasn't forgotten. Comment sections under royal coverage paint a blunt picture. Many argue that the titles have become tools for commercial leverage rather than service. Others insist the monarchy cannot survive with internal critics operating under its banner. Words like degrading, disloyal, and enough surface repeatedly. And this sentiment isn't confined to fringe corners. It reflects a broader fatigue. Meanwhile, Harry's American strategy appears strained. The surfing video controversy was not just about pixels, it was about perception. Once audiences begin questioning authenticity, every subsequent presentation is viewed through skepticism. In the celebrity economy, credibility is currency. And once that currency devalues, recovery becomes exponentially harder. Meghan's lifestyle brand struggles amplified that problem. Reports of unsold products, pricing discrepancies, and negative reviews did not just challenge business performance, they challenged narrative authority. A brand built on refinement and elevated taste cannot afford optics suggesting mismanagement or oversight. And perception spreads fast. Even discussions around the Invictus Games, once Harry's untouchable achievement, are reportedly shifting tone. Bower suggests Harry may attempt to use upcoming rehearsals as a visibility boost, a rehabilitation arc, a reminder of purpose. But critics argue that public goodwill cannot be manufactured on demand. It must be earned consistently. If William decides that continued royal branding attached to external commercial ventures threatens institutional clarity, the response could be swift. Titles, after all, are not symbolic ornaments, they are constitutional instruments. Let's examine what removal would actually mean. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles could be revoked through parliamentary mechanisms. The Hearst styling, already restricted, would be permanently severed. Their place in the line of succession could be formally addressed. Invitations to state functions? Ended. Ceremonial roles? Non-existent. Financial ties? Concluded. The final threads binding them to the working monarchy would be cut cleanly. For Meghan, whose commercial identity is deeply intertwined with royal association, that shift would be seismic. Without titles, the brand narrative transforms. No longer royal adjacent. No longer operating within the mystique of monarchy. Instead, a former royal couple entirely external to the institution. And that distinction matters enormously in media economics. Tom Bower's credibility amplifies the seriousness of this forecast. His previous biography on Meghan, Revenge, generated controversy, but also demonstrated access and investigative persistence. When he signals that a decisive shift is coming, it resonates differently than anonymous sources or speculative commentary. And then there is Catherine. Reports suggest the future queen has little tolerance for prolonged Sussex turbulence. Catherine's public image is built on steadiness, discretion, and service. A monarchy preparing for generational transition cannot afford perpetual distraction. The optics of a divided house undermine stability, and stability is the monarchy's primary currency. William's calculus is not emotional, it is institutional. He watched the Diana fallout reshape public trust. He witnessed Andrew's scandal test constitutional resilience. He experienced Harry's departure fracture family unity. Each event reinforced a lesson: the institution survives only when clarity is enforced, and clarity often requires removal. Harry reportedly understands this, which explains the urgency. Every appearance, every interview, every venture now carries weight. The question is no longer whether reconciliation is possible, it's whether relevance is sustainable without institutional backing. There is also the matter of the children. Archie and Lilibet hold prince and princess titles by virtue of being grandchildren of the monarch, but titles are not immune to review. Placement in the line of succession is not ceremonial trivia, it is constitutional positioning. If Parliament were ever involved, the conversation could expand beyond symbolism. Even speculation about such possibilities creates pressure, and pressure explains behavior. The Kardashian incident, the brand controversies, the surf footage debate, the online squad backlash, taken individually, each may seem minor. Together, they form a pattern of instability at precisely the moment when stability is most needed. William's impending kingship casts a long shadow, and shadows reveal what daylight hides. Charles's reign represents continuation. William's will represent recalibration. Harry is racing against time because he knows that once the transition happens, leverage evaporates. The older brother, who once walked behind their mother's coffin alongside him, will not hesitate to prioritize the crown over sentiment. The Andrew precedent is the warning. Andrew lost military roles, lost public function, lost proximity, and that was under a king inclined toward restraint. Under William, observers expect decisiveness, and decisiveness in royal terms means permanence. Public patience is thinned, celebrity endorsements have cooled, commercial optics have frayed, institutional tolerance has limits. Tom Bower's message is stark. The question is not if, but when. When William ascends, the titles may follow Andrew's path. When William ascends, the half and half out era formally ends. When William ascends, the final connection between Montecito and the monarchy may be severed. And if that happens, Harry and Meghan's royal chapter will close not with reconciliation, but with removal. The countdown is not dramatic exaggeration, it is constitutional reality waiting for a coronation. And according to Britain's most relentless royal investigator, that moment changes everything.